Everyone should be seeing a record button. And then Nadia, I think I need to go and make you able to do a backup recording.
Sure, that would be great.
You know exactly how I go about doing that?
I think you may be able to click on my name either in the on the screen or under participants.
And allowed to record the local files?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Right, I will call this meeting to order. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio video recorded. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those that are reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. Please address all comments to the chair. This meeting of the Conservation Commission will be held by Zoom at the link provided in this notice. And for those that may be on TV watching this link live, the meeting ID is 847-6611-0417. The passcode is 627938. Okay, as is our process in calling to order, I'm going to do a roll call. Bob Pease, not here tonight. Richard Bursch, also not here. Jeffrey Viviano.
Present.
Patricia Adams. I don't see Patricia. Katie Childs.
Present.
Mike LaRouche. Mike's there. I don't hear anything though, Mike. Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, can.
Okay. So then Mike is present. And our newest member, Richard Tremblay.
Present.
Excellent. Okay, so I apologize to those on the call that may be following along. It's going to be a little stilted tonight. This is commissioner meeting hosting in training, and my first time winging it, and I'm glad for the opportunity, but there will be a few fits and starts. So bear with me. All righty, are there any announcements to the commission? Nadia?
I don't have any announcements. I do have a few new things that came in, but they'll be under new business.
Excellent, thank you. Any announcements by fellow commissioners? Okay, any announcements by members of the public? And this is also known as the public comment period.
There's a raised
Okay.
hand, Mary.
Say that again, Nadia.
There's a raised hand by Peter Cowley.
Ah, thank you. Mr. Cowley?
Hello, Ms. Chairwoman. Thank you. Peter Cowley, 72 Peninsula. I've organized an event called an Owl Prowl, leaving from the Lane property, and I'm scheduled for I think way down under new business. I think this is only going to take a few minutes, so I was wondering if this might be discussed first or near the beginning.
I don't see any reason why we can't do that. Would anyone else, any of the other commissioners be opposed to handling the owl prowl now? I see no dissent. So, Mr. Cowley, why don't you continue?
Okay, I didn't realize I needed a permit for this, but we've organized for Hickory Hills a guided walk on established trails in the Lane property. We have a naturalist serving as our guide, and we're looking for owls. The group size is 20 to 30 people. We plan to meet at 6:30 tomorrow evening at the Holman Street parking area and ending before 9 and staying on established trails. I needed to, this was a surprise to me, I needed to fill out, make an application for a funded organization permit since our guide is taking money for it. And my understanding is that town council has approved waiving the requirement for a certificate of insurance liability. So the application is with Nadia, and I'm simply looking for approval to hold this this walk in the woods in the early evening.
And are the participants required to pay, or will this be by donation?
Both. It's
Both?
suggested donations are recommended, but they don't have to if they don't want to.
Okay, so then it is exclusively by recommended donation amount.
Yes,
And is this open to everyone, or is this open only to people in your constituency group?
it was open only to our group residents of Hickory Hills.
Okay, I will open the discussion to other members of the commission to see if they have any questions. And I'm not hearing any questions. So then I would accept a motion to allow this owl prowl to commence as planned.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, we'll go to a roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
aye.
Kay Tremblay. I'm sorry, Rich Tremblay. Rich. Rich, you're on mute. I'm not certain we're going to get Rich to vote. Well, that's, I'll say aye for myself as well. Naughty, what would we do generally in a case like this where it seems like Rich is unable to hear us?
Let me see. You could try unmuting him, but he may be having some connection difficulties.
Yeah, I don't think he, yeah, it doesn't sound like he can hear us.
Okay. I mean, you have enough, so just say that he abstained. That's fine. I can put that in the notes.
Okay, we'll consider Rich as abstained due to technical difficulties. And so it looks like this is approved.
Okay, thank you very much for hearing me, and thanks for the approval.
Thank you, Mr. Cowley. Are there any other comments from the public? Okay, and Mr. Cowley was wonderful in observing the protocol, and it's my job to remind everybody of the protocol is that everyone is to address all comments throughout the meeting to the chair, and I am acting chair of this meeting. Mr. Cowley was wonderful in adhering to that, even though I hadn't made that announcement. So next up on the agenda is to review the meetings of the previous the minutes of the previous meeting and approve those. And that meeting was August the 17th. Have all members of the commission had an opportunity to review those meeting minutes?
Yes.
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 I will accept a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche, Mike appears frozen as well.
Aye.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
And was
Thumbs
that an
up.
approval for the meeting minutes
Yes.
from last time? Yes.
Yes.
Katie Childs?
Aye.
Rich, can you hear us now? Can you approve? Or-
Yes, I hear you now. I approve. I'm having trouble too. My screen is freezing and I'm losing audio.
Rich, why don't you try not sharing video? Sometimes that helps.
Okay, we'll do.
And I for myself. It looks like a couple of people are, because I've noticed a couple of people who were not in the meeting or were in the meeting have dropped out and joined again. It must be a local issue. Okay.
Aye.
Aye. And it does look like those were approved by unanimous vote, Nadia. Appointments and hearings. So we have a new volunteer, Sam Welch.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Oh, good.
First off, thank you for volunteering. We love having new blood added to the group and are thankful for the efforts of all of our volunteers.
I'm sorry.
wondered,
I was having trouble finding the link and then it wouldn't let me in. I'm sorry.
I don't know, you came in right at exactly the right time. Your
Okay.
timing is matchless.
Huh.
I wondered if you wanted to take a minute to introduce yourself to the Conservation Commission and tell us a little bit about your interest in the Conservation Commission and any areas of volunteering you might be particularly interested in.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a long-standing environmentalist, and I lived in Lunenburg from about 2006 to about 2020, and I'm actually moving back to Lunenburg, to the house that I lived in. I'm really pleased with the stuff that's been going on in Lunenburg with the Conservation Commission right now. I'm very glad about, I live right behind Flat Table, I think it's called.
Do you have a street address?
Well, I live on New
For that?
West Townsend Road,
Mhm.
but it's right, I live right behind the golf course, where
Oh,
the
Table Rock.
Table Rock, that's it, Table Rock. And I mean, it could have been 10 years ago, they were gonna turn that place into some place called High View or High Field Village, something like that, with dozens and dozens of colonial houses and Taco Bells and everything, and it would have been a nightmare. So I was really pleased to find out that you guys had fixed that area so that it was conserved well. So I'm really indebted to you guys for preserving the nature of the community, the neighborhood. The other thing is that I'm a member of Mass Audubon, and I'm a member of the it's called the Turn Society, which is when people bequeath certain parts, or it could be some, could be all of their estates to Mass Audubon. They can specify what area they want it to go towards, and I specify that it go toward land acquisition. And I'm interested in getting involved with that aspect of the conservation activity in the area. I know that I don't think Mass Audubon has a very big footprint right now in Lunenburg, but I'd be interested in working on trying to develop more connections. And I really don't know anything about it. I mean, I walked in the woods behind the Settlers Crossing about 5 years ago with somebody from the Conservation Commission. I can't remember his name, but that was the first contact that I had with you guys, and that's pretty much it for me. I'm 56 years old, and I'm just moving back to the area and looking for something to do with some of my time, and so I thought I'd check it out. So that's it.
Well, thank you very much. We look forward to working with you and taking advantage of your volunteerism. I also am, as are many members, but a really big proponent of the trails and the wonderful properties and trail system we have here in Lunenburg. That's how I got kind of stuck in with the Conservation Commission, and I've been enjoying every minute of it. So I look forward to
Yeah.
working with you, Sam.
Great, thank you.
Any questions or comments from members of the commission for Sam?
Welcome aboard, Sam.
Thank you. Who's that, David? No, wait, who's that?
Rich?
Richard,
Oh, Rich, I can't see you.
I'm having video problems, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, but you are coming in loud and clear, Rich, so that may have helped turning off the video. Okay, well, moving along, we have also a Eagle Scout, Sean Patrick Terry, joining us tonight, and I think you had a proposal for us to consider. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming here tonight. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your proposed project?
Yes, I actually have a slide presentation I can present.
Yeah, I'll allow you to share your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I think you can share. Do you have a
Uh,
share button?
I have a share button. It says disabled share, host disabled, attendee screen sharing.
That is not consistent with what I'm seeing over on my side. Hang on, let me just double check. Yeah, it says that I'll allow participants to share. Who can share? Ah, okay. I think I figured it out. It was a default setting.
Okay. Here we
Okay,
go.
try again.
I think window. Here we go.
Excellent. I can see that. Sean, do you want to go ahead with your proposal? I cannot hear you.
Sean, you're muted.
Sean, are you saying anything? I am not able to hear Sean.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, please
There we
proceed.
go. Okay, so my name is Sean Terry. I'm an Eagle Scout candidate from Troop 1728 Lunenburg. And this is my planned project proposal. So the goal of my project is to restore the conservation land of Clark's Hill. Clark's Hill was one of the first settlements in Turkey Hill. And I think it's really important that we preserve this land. So the following slides will detail what I plan to do. You'll see on this first slide that this sign at the base of the hill on the side of the road, it's very faded and it's really easy to miss. So one of the goals of my project is to repaint this sign and lead the scouts in doing that. So it's much more clear, it pops out more, and it's easier to see. So next slide, you'll see these benches that were put in about 15 years ago, another Eagle Scout project. These were stained, but unfortunately they've withered away The paint and stain is gone on the top. You can't see it in the photo, but it's covered in graffiti on the top. So I could lead the scouts in painting and staining these, and they'll be reviewed once again. Here you'll see that the trails are covered in leaves. The trail markers on the sides are not very clear. They're out of place. So I'll be leading the scouts in raking those leaves away and making the trail markers more clear. As you can see here on the right, this trail, again, is covered with leaves. And on the left, you'll see that this part of the trail is blocked off by a tree. And there are multiple points where the trail is blocked off by trees and it's impassable. So I could lead the scouts in either pulling away these trees, or if needed, with adult leader help, we could cut down these trees and then pull them away. Here in these areas, it's very overgrown with things like weeds, tall grass, and poison ivy. We have electric weed whackers we could use to cut this area down. Well, not cut it down, but clear it out and make it walkable again. And there will be less ticks there, because when I visited, there was an abundance of ticks in the tall grass. And if this area is cleared, then there will be less risk of that. Here you'll see the kiosk, which is actually in good condition, but the information in there could be updated. For example, there could be new trail maps in there. There's historical data that could be updated. Those QR codes in there, they don't actually work anymore, so I should update that. And this could also include new trail markers as well. In addition to this, at the base of the hill, firstly, there's an abundance of trash that I intend to lead the scouts in cleaning up. As well as that, the parking area is very unclear. First, it's easy to miss, and many people seem to be unsure as to whether you can actually park there or not, because it's just a dirt area covered with leaves. So what I'm proposing is that for my project, I would order gravel and I would lead the scouts in spreading that all over the parking area. And that would make sure that people know that that's a parking area. It's easier to see, and that more people have access to and know that this is a trail we can use. So thank you. And that's some of my project.
Sean, I have a couple of questions for you. Do you have, how would you raise funding for like purchase of the gravel?
So funding, funding is largely, we already have enough money for this already, but if funding is needed, then we can do that through donations from local business. I've written on my proposal that we can start a GoFundMe page, and we can have donations from friends and family, but really fundraising is unneeded. We have the funds.
Okay, so you've already scoped that out, at least for the gravel for the parking area?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, excellent. I, for one, speaking as myself, I would recommend that you not rake the leaves on the trail. That's a pretty sharp incline going up Clark's Hill, and the leaves do kind of slow erosion all along the trail. So I would recommend that you leave them, but you know, as you're removing the blowdowns and whatnot, you know, using those to help kind of line the trail and indicate where it is, I think is a really good idea. And of course, Lunenburg Conservation Commission does have a lot of trail markers to mark the trail. And we do have several trail intersection markers that actually have it's a metal replication of the trail system itself. Would you be willing to see that those are installed in Clarksville and take that on as part of this project?
Absolutely. I can add anything that the Conservation Commission would request to my project.
We would really appreciate that. That would be awesome.
Mhm.
And we do have those trail markers. We do have the timber locks and a prototype for installing those trail markers. They're roughly, I think they're 11 by 17, sort of kind of dimensions. So yeah, getting your help and getting those installed in Clarks Hill would be wonderful. Any questions by other members of the commission? Rich.
Thank you, Mary. Sean, I was wondering where you are in the approval process with the council.
It's recommended by my adult leaders and mentors that I should go to the Conservation Commission before I approach council, because they are a lot more likely, because I just wanted to make sure that it's approved with the Conservation Commission before I propose this project to council. Simply as a precaution if it's not approved with the commission.
Okay, so the proposal can be modified before it goes to council?
Yes.
Mary, one more quick question. Sean, I was just wondering, have you done fundraising for this? Have you looked at what it's going to cost you for that gravel you were talking about and other things?
I have looked at the funds for the gravel. I think that the estimate that I got was about $300 for that driveway, for the gravel service and the gravel itself. And the funds for that haven't really come from fundraising. They've mostly came from family funds and family donations. But if it ends up costing more, or if funds are needed for anything else, we can definitely do more fundraising.
Great, thank you.
Sean, I would recommend that you add the detail into your presentation about the trail intersection markers, and I can get you a photo of one of those, an example, installation example to add into your slide deck.
That would be great. Thank you.
Any other questions by other members of the commission? Okay, I'd like to recognize Greg Roy has a question.
Thanks, Madam Chairperson. Sean, my name is Greg Roy with Dillis and Roy. If you need a local business, of course, and if you need some funds, we'd be happy to help you out. So feel free to reach out. We like to help, particularly Eagle Scouts like yourself, undertake projects like this. So great work. And if you need any help with any funds, feel free to reach out. I think if you contact Nadia, she can put you in touch with me. She has my contact information.
I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. That's awesome. And I would also recognize Mary, a different Mary than myself.
Thank you, Miss. Oh, can you?
I think you.
Okay, sorry about that. We're in the same room, but on two computers.
Yeah.
Thank you, chairperson, woman, I guess. My question is on the trail intersection markers. Are those readily available, or is that something that has to be ordered?
Those are readily available. The Conservation Commission had those printed out of funding that we had. It's a previous grant that our chairman, Bob Pease, had put together. So we actually have those in inventory in our office.
And when you say trail intersection markers, are those markers that get hung on the trees, or are they dug into the ground? Like, I can't really picture what a trail intersection marker is.
It's a replication of the trail map with a star that says you are here, so that you can recognize, where you are relative to the trails, and they are hung on trees.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, I see no other questions. I would accept a motion to approve if the members are so inclined.
So moved?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself.
Thank you. I really appreciate you approving my project.
Well, we really appreciate you stepping up to help the Conservation Commission and help our trails. So thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so we will move along on the agenda to new public meetings and hearings. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public meeting on a request for determination of applicability by Greg Roy for a sewer extension at 4 Kimball Street. Mr. Roy, I see you are on tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chairwoman, mind if I say something real quick?
Go ahead, JD. Thank
I
you.
am a direct abutter to this project, so I will be recusing myself tonight.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Roy.
Thank you very much. My name is Greg Roy with Dillison Roy. I'm representing Nicole DiStefano at 4 Kimball Street, as you read. Would it be appropriate to share my screen?
Yes, please do.
Okay. All right. Can you all see the Google Earth image?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to put everybody in context before I show you the plan. I'll try to be brief here. You have a long agenda, so. So this property is right across the street from the town beach. So this brown area here is the town beach on Lake Whalum. Kimball Street comes down here on a diagonal and intersects Prospect Street on a very large skewed angle. And the property we're talking about is right here, right where my hand is. So flipping over to our plan, we have Prospect Street here, which is parallel to Lake Whalum, which is shown right here, down here. And Kimball Street comes down on a very big skewed angle, as I mentioned. There is no sewer in Kimball Street, so the sewer that runs in Prospect Street is the point where we need to connect. So the DiStefanos would like to connect the sewer. I guess I should start by saying that. The reason why we're here is they want to connect the sewer. And so the closest connection point is an existing manhole, which is right here in the middle of Prospect Street. So we have proposed a short public sewer extension. We'd be running the public sewer up into the center of Kimball Street, where we would install a new manhole and a stub so that the sewer could be extended in Kimball Street sometime in the future. And then we would be installing a lateral service connection to the existing dwelling from that point, from that manhole. We have gotten approval on this from the Sewer Commission a few weeks back. But the work, of course, is within 100 feet of Lake Whalum, so you can see the solid line down here where I indicate Lake Whalum is the edge of the lake. This dotted line right here is the location of your 30-foot no-touch zone offset from Lake Whalum. And it's a little difficult to see, but there's another dotted line in the middle of the pavement of Prospect Street. That is the limit of your 50-foot no build zone. And then this heavier dashed line here is the limit of the 100-foot buffer zone. So we are proposing to, we would open cut the street to install the sewer. So we'd be proposing an erosion control barrier right along the edge of the Prospect Street pavement. All work would be done within the pavement area. We wouldn't be doing any work down gradient of the, outside of the Prospect Street pavement. We'd be installing this public sewer. And then actually, once we get this manhole installed, we're outside of your jurisdiction. We do anticipate that that work would be done first. Sewer is typically constructed starting at the downhill point and working its way upstream. So after installation of the sewer, we'd of course be restoring the road and installing a pavement patch and repaving. We anticipate that work being completed relatively quickly. With certainly less than a week, probably a day or two is what we anticipate. Very quick. We of course don't want to have the road shut down more than we need to. So we filed the RDA because we felt that given that the work was in a previously disturbed, improved road, that the work area could be properly contained, and also due to the short duration proposed for the project, we thought that an RDA would be appropriate. So I think that's all. Those are the highlights. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
I don't have any questions. I'll open it to fellow members of the commission for questions. I see no questions. Was this, Nadia, was this already been part of a site walk?
I think we had just considered going on a site walk for it, but it honestly is a very simple project. So the group decided not to go. I have been out to the site myself.
Okay, fair enough. All right, then. I will accept a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Richard would second.
And so, Mike, was that you that moved?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And were you moving for a negative determination of applicability?
Yes, I was.
Very good. All right, then we'll put it to a roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs is
I abstain.
abstaining. Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Moving on to the agenda. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a notice of intent by Christian and Allison Martin for the demolition and construction of a single-family home and garage at 137 Chase Road. Do we have the Martins here tonight or their representative?
Good evening, Madam Chairperson. Can you hear me, please?
I can, sir.
Okay, my name is David Sadowski. I'm the principal of DJ and Associates, and I'm here to represent the Martins on this project.
Very good. You
I
have the
believe
floor.
I believe this was part of the site walk. A company was hired to go out, and I guess there was a demolition permit, and the house had a fire, the house in the existing garage. So two plans were put together. There was an existing conditions plan as well as a proposed site plan. We hired Matt Morrow Environmental to delineate the wetlands, and we went out and we located existing lawn. We located the tree line as it is. We located any access egresses, walking trails, anything that existed from the wetland line, all the flags, all the way up to the existing garage itself, and provided contours on the plan. We show the 30-foot no touch, we show the 50-foot no new structure, and we show the 100-foot buffer. The existing garage is currently 90 feet from the wetland line. The proposed replacement house is to go exactly in the same location as the house that had the fire. The foundation will be replaced and the house will be put with the garage in the same manner. The only addition will be a deck would be added. This right now on top of the existing garage, it's a makeshift deck that would be extended along the house.
Mr. Sadowski, can I put you on pause? Sorry to interrupt. Nadia, do we have these plans? Can we display those for the commission as Mr. Sadowski walks us through them?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No problem at all. I'm a visual person, so having the plans while you're walking us through it is of great help to me.
Do you want the existing plan or the proposal for what's going to happen?
Let's go with a proposal.
Okay.
Thank you, Nadia. Okay, Mr. Sadowski, take us, continue.
All right, so I will continue. As you can see on this plan, this is the proposed site plan. For our erosion control, we're proposing a 12-inch diameter straw wattle along with the silt fence. That would be, as shown on the plan, just outside of that proposed deck that would be on the back of the replacement house and up the side of it also. The 100-foot buffer line is shown on this plan, as well as the 50-foot no new structure and the 30-foot no touch. Down along the water line, there's an existing fire pit. There's a camper that's down there. We show the walking trail. We show there's an access egress, kind of a way for a small truck or whatever to get down. And then we show where the house and the garage are to go. There's two different ways to get into this property. There's a paved section of driveway off of Chase. And then there's a common driveway that goes to the back lots, and there's an access from the side there. The two-bay garage will be accessed from the side. You'll be able to drive straight into it like you can right now. It would be basically a replacement of what's there, only it'd be a much newer materials. The only change again is that you can see the sonotube locations that would support the deck, and that would be 81 feet from the wetland line that was delineated by Matthew Morrow, Environmental Consulting. I think I'm ready for any questions from the board.
I have no, well, I guess my question is, have members of the board done a site walk through on this location?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I've had to miss the last two. Okay, and I'll open the questions to members of the Conservation Commission. I am not seeing any questions. Rich.
Just one, because I want to make sure. I was on the site walk last Saturday. We talked about the fire pit and the lawn down there and a path to get a small vehicle. There's no work being proposed down there at all. Is that correct?
That is correct. The only work would be inside the erosion control line. And I believe I have a note that says that that's the limit. The erosion control line is the limit of work on the site.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mary.
If there are no other questions, there is a question I hear.
I'm sorry, Mary, this is Jeff. Do you know
Jeff?
if we have a DEP number?
I do not know.
Madam Chairperson, I did have a conversation with Nadia maybe an hour ago. She said she hadn't received a DEP number yet. I checked through and I resent the whole filing to DEP. I also called Kathleen Sullivan. She's the head of DEP Financial in Boston, to see if they received the check. I don't know what's held up. The mailings, everything went out. I don't know what's held up us not getting a DEP file number.
It seems to take about 3 to 4 weeks at this point for them to issue a number. They're a little backlogged.
And as a point of order, do we need that DEP number to proceed? Nadia?
Yes.
Yes.
You cannot close the hearing until the DEP number has been issued and they've had a chance to make comments.
So then what would we do as a next step?
If I believe you need to vote to continue, and the applicant can request that until the next meeting, and hopefully they'll have a number by then.
Madam Chairman, this is or Chairperson, this is David Sadowski again. Could we keep the hearing open to see if there's any concerns of the neighbors or anyone else, so that we could at least be able to address those for the next meeting?
I don't see an issue with that as long as it's consistent with our protocols. Nadia?
Yeah, I mean, the commission cannot close the hearing until a DEP number has been issued. So the only option is to continue.
Right,
Okay.
but through the chair, Nadia, I'm asking that we see if there's any other comments or any other concerns. I think we can keep the meeting going. We just can't close it.
Yes.
Yeah, but nobody is raising any concerns tonight.
I didn't know if you had asked if there was any abutters that were online that had any concerns with this project.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, so before we get to that, that's a great point, Mr. Sadowski. And I am a newbie here, so I do appreciate people helping me out with this. Mike LaRoche, you have your hand raised. Did you have a question?
Yes, I did. Mr. Sadowski had mentioned that Matt Morrow had done some preparation on his plan. And seeing that Matt was recently left the Lunenburg area, I think he used to be Nadia's predecessor. And did we not have some sort of restriction on him working on any Lunenburg project? Is that something that applies here, or is that not something that applies here?
I'll defer to Nadia, but I thought that only applied for issues that have been opened a while under Matt Morrow's tenure here. But Nadia, do you have advice for us?
Closely into the regulations, there is supposed to be a 1 year, sort of a 1 year time when you don't come back in front of the commission for, to present a project. So I don't know if that would apply to him doing wetland lines and then ended up on the plan. But there's supposed to be a 1 year kind of a cooling off period as part of the state laws for public employees. I can look into it by the next meeting if it would be helpful.
Yes, please do that. Thank you. And so then, are there any abutters on the call that would like to comment or ask questions? Okay, I hear no abutters on the call, or at least none with any questions or comments. So I think now I would accept a motion to delay this to the next meeting.
So you're so moved to continue? Madam
Yeah, to
Chairperson?
continue.
Okay. So moved, Mike?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Now, I believe, Mr. Sadowski, you had already given consent to continue.
Madam Chairperson, I hadn't, but I obviously I will. considering the situation, we don't have a DEP file number. Since DEP hasn't reviewed it, they haven't offered any comments themselves. It's just against, I believe it's against the law to close the hearing without DEP's consent, or at least a file number. So of course, I'll ask for a continuance to your next meeting. When is your next meeting?
You have the date of that handy, Nadia?
21st.
Did you get that? September 21st?
Thank you.
Okay.
If you need something
ahead.
in writing or something signed, I can send it to Nadia. I can email it, or I can mail it and drop it off. Any way
Okay,
you'd
shoot me
like.
an email, David.
Very good. Through the chair.
So we had a movement for continuance. It was seconded. So we're back at a roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, next agenda topic. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws public hearing on notice of intent by Ryan Proctor for the demolition and construction of a single-family home and driveway, reconstruction of retaining walls, and the installation of a new dock at 451 Townsend Harbor Road. Do we have Mr. Proctor or his representative here tonight?
Madam Chair, my name is Greg Roy. I'm representing this project on behalf of Ryan, since I was at the meeting anyway, so.
Excellent.
Ms.
Thank you very
Chairperson,
much.
Ms. Chair,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yes.
I'd like to recuse myself on this particular hearing if I could.
Very good. Thank you
All
for
right.
that notification.
Thank you. Sorry,
All right.
Greg, it's all yours.
Okay, no problem. That's
right.
important, so.
All right,
Uh,
Mr. Roy, please continue.
Thank you. Again, Greg Roy with Dillison Roy. I'm representing the applicant this evening, Paul Block, for the property at 451 Townsend Harbor Road. Again, would it be appropriate to share my screen?
I would love that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Can everybody see the
Yes.
plan on the screen? Okay. So we submitted, in this case, some of these lots down on the lakes get a little small. So we submitted an existing conditions plan for the commission's reference, and then a busier proposed site plan that I'll go over in a minute. But I wanted to start you off with existing conditions. Townsend Harbor Road is shown on the right-hand side of the plan here. Hickory Hills Lake is on the left-hand side. There's an existing driveway, which is actually shared with the abutting property at 455 Townsend Harbor Road for the first few feet. And then it splits off into the property at 451. And you can see that driveway in the gravel hatch. It is a gravel driveway. There's an existing 2-bedroom dwelling, which is the rectangular box shown here with the cross hatching, and with an associated deck and things associated with the house. Property also has an existing shed and a 2-bedroom septic system, which actually is located up by on the Townsend Harbor Road side of the site. There's the existing edge of water is shown here. Again, we have that hatched in gravel, in sort of the gravel hatch area there, but we've depicted the 30-foot, 50-foot, and 100-foot buffer zone limits. So you can see where those relate to the existing features on the property. The existing house you'll see here and deck is located within the 30-foot no-touch zone of the house. No-touch zone of the lake, excuse me, it's getting late. So the applicant is seeking to demolish the structure and build a new house on the property. And they'd like to increase the number of bedrooms from 2 to 3. Which would of course involve an upgrade of the septic system. So we have prepared the plan that's in front of you, which is being sent to, in addition to being sent to your board for this notice of intent process, it's also been submitted to the Board of Health for a septic permit, and also to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit to essentially the raising and reconstruction of the house. It was deemed, the building commissioner required us to get a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals for that, to resolve the zoning. So just to walk you through the proposal, the proposed house is shown in brown, this thick brown line here. And you can see that we also have a deck that we're proposing. There will be a 2-car garage installed on the opposite the water. I'll call it the back side of the house. There is plans to pave the apron of the driveway, just basically from where it splits off from the shared portion a little bit further down, and just to have a paved landing area there as you approach the garage. The septic system would be upgraded. The existing leaching trenches are actually in good shape. They were not installed very long ago. So we're proposing to just expand the system by putting another trench in to get another capacity for another bedroom. The existing septic tank and pump chamber would be replaced with new tanks, which are shown here in these rectangular gray hatched rectangles. We're proposing to relocate the shed on the property. So we'd actually be pulling the shed out of the 100-foot buffer zone and moving it to this location here that you can see in brown. It's very difficult to see, but this dashed rectangle here is the current location of the shed. So we'll be pulling that from this location over to here. The proposed house, while it's quite a bit bigger, we've moved that further away from the lake. So we still have some work proposed within the 30-foot no disturbance zone, but it is less than what was proposed previously. So we're improving that, I'll call it nonconformity with respect to to your wetland regulations. We within the between 30 and 50 feet, we have a moderate increase. I think it's in 255 square feet of increase in building area in that zone. But that's offset by the 265 feet that we're removing from the 30-foot. So within the 50-foot no structure zone, we're actually reducing the amount of structure that's there. It's more or less the same, but it's a slight deduction as compared to the pre-existing case. Of course, the rest of the building would be located outside of the 50-foot no structure zone, but still within the 100-foot buffer zone, as you can see on the plan. The applicant is also seeking to install a seasonal dock that would be removed at the end of the boating season, which is shown here in this black rectangle. And then I think, well, second to last, one more thing after this. They would like to install a small stone wall. The shoreline we're showing it as a gravel hatch. The shoreline is, I think several members of the commission were on site last Friday, but the shoreline's kind of undercutting in areas, and so the blocks would like to formalize that a little bit and keep it from washing out further. So they would like to put a small wall. We've provided a detail similar to what we've done on other portions of the site. They would actually be moving the edge, actually giving back lake, if you will. So they'd actually be installing the wall about 2 feet further landward from the edge of the water line, which would allow us to remove that material, and you get some more we get some more flood storage there, which is important because there is a slight fill in this red hatched area that you see here. There's a slight amount of floodplain fill. So we were proposing to compensate for that by basically moving the shoreline approximately 2 feet landward towards the proposed structure. Lastly, I wanted to point out we do propose to remove two trees. One, they're shown here, and I've highlighted them in red. One of them is an 8-inch maple, and the other one is a real small sapling. We think it's a maple right in this area here. I think that's all. Talked enough. I'm sure you have questions, so I'm happy to take any questions and try to get you some answers. Oh, I should say, just like the other one, there is no DEP file number issued for this yet. We can verify what Nadia said. We're seeing the DEP Central taking about 4 weeks to issue those, so it's rare that we get them before the first hearing nowadays. So.
Okay, thank you. Could you show us the existing structure plan again?
Sure. Yeah, you want to see
or describe it on
Yeah.
the plan.
Yeah, I can highlight it for you. Let me see if I can highlight it for you. So this is going to be freehand. It's going to be a little bit tough to see, but this is the existing structure here. That's the deck. And then the existing house is like this.
I see. Thank you. Yeah, it says hash lines. I was having difficulty seeing that.
It's very difficult to see, especially on a computer screen when you're.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I do like drawings. And the more complicated, the better. Okay, that. Do we know why the 8-inch maple is being proposed to be removed?
I think it's overhanging it's overhanging the lake quite a bit. I have not seen, I don't have a visual on that. It wasn't at the site walk on Friday, but from what I understand, it was there's a lean to it, or it's a significant overhang.
Okay, I will open the floor to questions and comments by members of the commission. Rich.
Thank you. I guess I have a lot of questions. Thank you, Mary. The deck that remains on the new structure that is inside the 30 foot, is there any way to pull that back just outside the 30 foot?
I mean, we could look at that. We tried to, I think we tried to pull it back further than what the existing was, but we could certainly look at it.
Okay. And why are the trees coming down? I think I missed that.
So again, I apologize. I wasn't on the site walk on Friday to look at that, and I haven't been on the property in a while. And I didn't look specifically at that tree when I was there, but from what I understand, there was a pretty significant lean to it, or an overhang to it. I don't know if anybody was on the site. If anybody was on the site walk, they can speak to that. I'm happy to hear it.
I was on the walk, but I didn't really note the trees because we didn't talk about them.
Oh,
If they
okay.
do come down, they're going to be replaced.
Yeah, per your policy, we would certainly have to do that.
And Madam Chairman, the wall that they proposed to build in the water, I don't believe there's an existing wall there now. Am I right, Greg?
No, I think it's more or less a bank that has been washed out. So there's rock gravel there, but it's undercutting in places, but there's no wall there.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Rich. So with regard to the lake itself, is is there already permission from the Hickory Hills Homeowners Association to do this, or is that something that
I believe they're
you will
going
be
next
doing?
week.
Going next week?
I believe
Okay.
they're going next week, yeah.
Okay, I'll recognize Jeff. You had a question?
Yeah, Greg, Jeff Viviano here. I was on the site walk. I think that 8-inch maple is actually a birch, and it's kind of leaning towards the house. So that was the reason why the homeowner wanted to take that down. And just my only suggestion here is just some kind of replanting in that area. As far as the wall, this is just my memory, but unless there is no wall currently there, we're pretty strict on approving walls. We'll approve walls to be replaced, but not necessarily walls that are new. And I think what we usually follow is a 45-degree angle with natural stone placed with some sort of backing to keep the erosion from occurring. With that, I'm not really sure how you'd get your floodplain or your replacement of flood storage, if you could move that back at all. But I do like that the house is moving back from the lake, and that proposed deck that you do have, although it is within the 30-foot, I think it's, within reason, what is the existing versus what you're proposing. I personally don't have an issue with that. And it looks like you're replacing the 2 septic tanks. Is that correct? I think you have the 2 kind of to the north of those right now that are existing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think just the dock has to go before Hickory Hills too, but I think the whole project you said is going before Hickory Hills. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. All right. That's just my observation, my suggestion.
Thank you, Jeff. Katie Childs, you have a question?
I had a question, just kind of a request. I was just wondering if we could get on the plan, just an approximate location of the new replantings and maybe a couple of ideas what you guys might be replanting in the place of the maple or birch, whatever it was. Just put on the plan just so we have it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could address the wall issue.
Yes, Mr. Roy.
I understand the comments raised. I think that the intent by the blocks is to stabilize the shoreline, not necessarily married to a vertical treatment there. So we can go back and work with them and try to present something that's a little more palatable to the board, to the commission.
Thank you. Any other questions? And do we have abutters on the call that wish to comment or ask questions?
Yes, I would like to.
And this is Brett Ramstead. Is that who was talking?
That's correct. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I didn't see the button right away to put my hand up.
That's okay.
Sure. As most of you know, I am a Stonewall guy in town. So I did want to chime in on the Stonewall part. It isn't an absolute about stone walls. We have put walls where there weren't walls before, on occasion, with the board's approval. Or most of them have been more in the form of a heavily angled wall, close to a 45 or in the ballpark of 45 degrees, but still had a wall feel to it. So it didn't look like, some sort of pile of blue riprap rocks. So that doesn't have to look like, you're living on a state reservoir, if you will. So there are variations and options available, such as Greg had mentioned, that I think you might all find palatable. I'm just asking you to keep an open mind in that area. I'm not a part of this project in any way. Just putting in some input and some past experience there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsden. So are there any other, okay, Rich, you have other questions?
Madam Chair, I was just going to say that on the sidewalk, took a couple of pictures of this line that we're talking about. It'll help.
Oh, do you have those available
I
to
lose
share?
signal.
I can hear you, but you're cutting in and out. Do you have, did I hear you correctly, Rich, that you have photos you wanted to share?
Looks like his screen froze.
Yeah, maybe so.
Gotta love technology.
When it works, it's wonderful and addictive. And when it's not, you're frustrated with your addiction.
For sure.
That is modern life. All right. Are there any other questions? Nadia, if I had understood your guidance earlier, if we don't have a DEP number, we cannot close the hearing?
Yes, so you can vote to continue with the applicant's permission.
And Mr. Roy, as the representative for the applicant, would
Yes,
that be acceptable?
Absolutely. We would like to request a 2-week continuance, which will give us time, hopefully for the DEP number, but also to address the comments received this evening. And I will put that in writing before I leave the office tonight. I'll send an email to Nadia.
Excellent, thank you. And Nadia, in the meeting agenda tonight, it did say that this NOI was filed by Ryan Proctor. What is that a typo, or is Ryan Proctor somehow related to this project?
Ryan Proctor is one of my employees, so.
Okay.
He filed it, but we're filing it on behalf of Dilson Roy is filing it on behalf of the blocks. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make certain that we weren't, somehow
No, it may have been a
misrecording it.
mistake on my part to not put the homeowners in the app.
That's okay. I just want to make certain I had it clear in my head. Okay, I will accept a motion to continue.
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. Roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
I've recused. I can't vote on this one.
that's right, you did. Thank you. Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay. You're still missing Rich. That looks like he's dropped all together. Hopefully he'll dial back in with better success. And I, for myself, I think that gives us four votes for Nadia.
Yes.
And
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you in a few weeks.
thank you. Okay, now we'll move into the section for continued public meetings and hearings. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public meeting on a request for determination of applicability by Andrew LeBlanc for repair and construction of retaining walls on Hickory Hills Lake at 362 Townsend Harbor Road. Do we have Mr. LeBlanc or his representative here tonight?
Yes, this is Andrew.
All right, Mr. LeBlanc, do you want to take us through your project?
Yes, so we have met a couple weeks ago on your last meeting, and the commission had asked for a more detailed drawing be provided to discuss. So we have uploaded a more detailed drawing to the the viewpoint portal. I'm not sure, Nadia, if you have that available, or I can share my screen if you don't.
If you have a better copy to share your screen, it did come out very faint.
Let's see. Just 1 second, please. Are you able to see my screen?
I am.
Okay. So the initial request was for the replacement or repairment of the 2 retaining walls that are down within the 30-foot buffer zone, which we have marked outlined here. Here's the measurements from them exactly. And then the addition of this 3rd wall, which is outside of the 30-foot buffer zone, slightly inside the 50-foot buffer zone. And I'm not sure if there's more questions I can open up to the commission. It was just my understanding the request was for a more detailed drawing than the one initially provided.
Okay, can you zoom, like go out just a little bit so we can see like the entire drawing? Yeah. Okay, that's helpful. And
I may be able to add a little, sorry, Madam Commissioner. I might be able to add a little more commentary to it. This is Brett Ramsey.
Okay, thank you. But before we get there, is this, just to refresh my memory, is this already have Hickory Hill Homeowners Association approval, or is that part of the next step?
They have approved based on this commission's approval.
So they've given approval contingent upon Conservation Commission approval?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ramsden, what's your association with this project? Are you working on this project?
Yeah, I'm most likely the contractor involved on rebuilding this. I actually did the drawing for Andrew, so I'm very familiar with it, of course. Just to add a little detail for you, if you blow it up on your screen a little, the lower wall by the dock is both, as he said, is existing. The lower one right now is maybe 15 inches tall, 18 inches tall, depending on where it is, where you look. And it's an existing wall and there's sand coming through it, but more than anything, there's quite a bit of sand and material rolling right over the top of it. It's just not tall enough to be doing anything productive. You could rebuild it like it is, and you're still gonna have sand flowing right over the top of it. So there is actually an as-built plan. I don't know if Andrew has that too, which is similar, except it actually looks the same, with the difference being that that middle wall is straight lines because it's currently made out of railroad ties that are rotting and a bit dilapidated. So the differences between the original drawing or the existing and this drawing you see here overall aren't dramatic, with the exception of the upper new wall. The lowest wall is simply going to be rebuilt in a way stronger fashion, of course, with a solid wall that's going to be solid, meaning more structure to it. Instead of just one row of granite, it'll be, as wide at the bottom as it is tall. It won't be into the lake any further than the existing wall, of course. But the plan is to raise it to the height of the bottom of the dock, which is basically the height of where the land drops off dramatically right there, which is why the sand goes right over the wall that's there. And then it's completely useless at the moment. And the construction is going to be standard to how I do it, which is, I don't have a detail on here. I didn't think to put one on there, but basically it's built like a stone dam. And the back of it, of course, is leaning hard. There's going to be a nice lean to the front of it, but the back of it leans even further, with stone being supported by stone, all interlocked with a heavy industrial strength filter fabric behind it to keep any sand or earth ever from coming through the back again. And the new proposed height will retain the earth, and which is mostly sand here, properly, and will actually stop the erosion that's very dramatic right now. That proposed middle wall, there's not a lot of change going on there. That again is going to be in the same location. It's going to be slightly higher as well because that earth is just rolling over that one as well. But other than that, that's really not changing much. There is a set of stairs that was built into that wall behind, if you can see the tree there. Yes, right in there. There's an existing set of railroad tie steps that will be removed as well, not to be replaced. And the areas between the wall, the two lower walls, is where people will be finding their way down to the beach area. And instead of the sand just flowing over that lower wall, it'll be with a slightly higher wall there, it's going to retain that sand and the whole area will work better. Now, the reasoning and thought behind the upper wall, if we can move right now, you'll see there's a difference in elevation from one side of the picnic table to the other. I have it's 95.0 in front of the table now, and that 95.3 is proposed. The existing right now is just on the other side of the table. It's actually more like 95.9 right now. There's about a 10-inch difference in elevation from one side of the picnic table to the other, so it makes it very difficult to even sit at the picnic table without having, your plate wanting to slide across the table. So it's really not a very usable area as it sits. And so the proposal is bringing if we can move yeah, there you go, thank you. The need for this wall, more than anything, is threefold. First of all, usability. It'll make that sand area, and we're not dramatically changing it overall, whereas, it goes from a 9-inch pitch across where you're sitting to probably a 3-inch pitch. So there's still pitch there. We're going to be saving the existing sand, pushing it off to the side to do this work, and then bringing that existing sand back. There actually should be no need for additional sand here. But the difference in elevation, if you can see the 199.25 above the stairs, that's pretty consistent in that area up there, just over the grass line. Compared to the bottom, you'll see there's a 4-foot difference. And right now, it's kind of a sandy ski slope, which means sand doesn't sit on that kind of slope very well, obviously, because gravity is, a powerful thing, especially with water. Every time it rains and people walking down the hill. So it's continually dragging that sand down, which is sending sand across that whole middle area rather quickly, which is also a big part of the erosion problem, is that upper hill is so dramatic with the pitch of the sand. So it's going to help tremendously with erosion in the area. At the same time, it's going to give that space something that's actually usable, and make the whole space basically a usable area to enjoy for Andrew and everyone in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsden. I do have a couple of questions. So I actually was present on that site walk. The length of
Okay.
the wall that's adjacent to or closest to the lake, is that the same length of wall that's existing there now? Or is it being extended in any way?
On the right side, actually, see the 7-foot mark there?
Yes.
On that side, there is actually no wall in that last 7-foot section right now. There's a dramatic undercut of the property, and the earth is just flowing in there. In fact, there's water coming from whenever it rains, water goes through the neighbor's property, transfers into his property, and just brings sand and earth into the lake right in that spot. So actually that wall is getting extended, proposed 7 feet more to stop that damage, to stop that heavy erosion.
So on that end, there was, and I don't know if it's on the property line or not, but there was a wall that looked like a small boulder wall that extended into the lake. And so are you saying that this proposed wall would extend over to that rubble wall?
Yeah, I believe that's on Andrew's property line from what I understand. But yeah, the idea was to extend that against, without disturbing that other wall in any way, or a pile of rocks, whatever you want to call it. Basically, just filling it in, following the exact shoreline as it is, not filling in anything, just securing the earth behind it, because it's just collapsing in that area. If that's left open, it's going to eventually just have an inlet in there, if you will.
I do have a picture of that spot if it would please the commission.
Yes, please show.
Okay.
It also should be noted that there isn't any trees being removed.
Can you see the picture now?
I can see that picture.
So this area right here is this 7-foot area that Brett was just speaking to. So the idea is to extend this out towards, this is probably the boulder wall that you were speaking to.
It is.
As you can see, I took this after a recent rainstorm of just the wash down that's occurring there that we're trying to prevent. So this is the area that we're speaking to.
Okay, thank you.
You can also see that the wall isn't high enough. You can see the sand sitting on top of the wall, which is obviously not going to stay there long. You can see it's just flowing over the top. In fact, you can see sand piled against part of that wall, which came from above, obviously. No one came up and threw sand against the wall. That's erosion from above filling in the lake.
Okay, thank you for showing that photo. And then back to the original question of, is the wall that's adjacent to the lake, is it getting longer? It's being extended on the south side. What about the north side? Is it being extended on that side of the dock as well?
No, that one's stopping right where it is right now.
Okay.
The only reason the right side is being extended is to stop that extensive damage. On the left side, there really doesn't seem to be any problem. The sandy beach comes down pretty level to the water, and erosion doesn't seem to be much of a problem there. What actually helps that area is that inner wall, that center wall, if you will, to the left, because that dramatically lowers the elevation in that area before you get near the water, or helps it to get down to a lower level as it meets the water. So it kind of prevents all that over there.
Thank you. I'll open the floor to questions and comments by fellow commissioners. Okay. Here we go. Jeff Viviano.
Yeah, hi, Mary, thanks. No, this project makes complete sense to me. One question is, do you know where all the sand came from? Is it natural there, or is it seems like there's a lot more erosion on this property than there are neighboring properties?
Hi, Jeff. Yeah, this is Andrew. The sand was actually placed there, but I did get approval for that through this commission a couple years ago.
Okay. Have you ever thought of putting grass in? Or is it-
We do have a grass line here.
Yeah.
If you guys, this is a separate topic, are willing to let me cut down some of these trees so the sun gets there, yeah, I'll put grass there. But
Okay.
a separate topic. I'm joking with the commissioner.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess so you shovel all the sand back up every year from the lake? Is that kind of the process, or?
No, I don't. I try not, I don't know the rules about disturbing what's already in the lake. I rake out the lake every year for weed growth and leaves that get in there, but as far as the sand, I don't know how that to best address that.
Okay. I mean, in the past, we've always given people the authority to kind of whatever has eroded into the lake to remove from that area, put back where it was. So,
Oh, well, that's good to know.
I mean, I live on Lake Shirley and we have it all the time. I'll have 6 inches of sand go down under a beach and just kind of rake it back up towards the wall, just trying to prevent erosion. But so I guess back to Brett, the wall that you're going to be building, will that be on an angle towards the lake, or is that going to be kind of a 90-degree angle wall like it is now?
Well, you know, I pitch every wall that I build, you know, into the hill. That's
okay. So it'll be
standard
similar to the one that you did
procedure
on Lake
for-
Shirley, that large wall that you, I think.
Yes, it would be similar to that. Yes, actually.
Okay. Okay. And that
That's
second
actually
tier wall.
That's kind
sorry,
of
go
become that's sort of my forte for waterfront these days, is that kind of wall.
No, they look beautiful, I gotta say.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So that second wall, is that going to be the same type, like kind of angled, or?
Yeah, that's still going to have a pitch to it too.
Okay.
I'd like to leave, but you know, it may not be as steep a pitch, but you know, with a wall leaning into the hill, of course, it's stronger, and it's going to be leaning on the stone supporting it behind.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be built to stay forever, like everything I build. So it'll be there long after I'm gone.
Okay.
And it will be leaning back. Maybe not at, you know, a heavy lean, but it'll be quite noticeable the minute you look at it.
Yeah. Okay. No, that was it. Thank you.
No problem.
Are there any other questions by fellow commissioners? If not, I will open the floor to any abutters that may care to comment or ask questions. Okay, I'm not seeing any abutters with questions or comments. And do we need a DEP number for this project or no?
I think it's an RDA.
RDA, okay.
So
I think at this point, I'm looking for a motion to approve or not.
I guess I'll make a motion to make a negative determination at 362 Townsend Harbor Road.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff Viviano.
Aye.
Mike LaRouche.
Aye.
Katie Childs.
Aye.
Rich Tremblay.
He was texting me. I guess he was having issues with his internet. He was up a little bit ago, but I think he's gone again.
Can you hear me again? I'm back.
I can hear you.
Hi.
There you go.
We are voting on a motion for a negative determination.
Yes, I heard you and I say aye. Can you hear
Very
me?
good. I
Okay.
can. And I for myself. Okay.
Thanks, Andrew.
Great. Well,
Thank you,
thank you,
Andrew.
Commission. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Madam Chair. Have a great night. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
So I just admitted somebody on an iPhone and their name is not identified. I'm not certain I'm even fluent enough to identify that on the iPhone, but could the person who's on Zoom on the iPhone just identify themselves? I am not.
Know how to unmute. You need to put *6 to unmute.
And they are gone. Okay. I'm just being a little bit wary tonight because of our, the select board meeting was a little bit too interesting last night. Okay, next on the agenda. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on request for a determination of applicability by Nicholas Pirro for reseeding and associated grading within the wetlands area of 408 Electric Ave. Do we have Mr. Pirro or his representative here tonight? I am not hearing anything.
And I think I reached out. I actually hadn't heard back from him or Marianne DePinto about joining tonight.
Okay, so I think we just move on then, yes?
Might want to move to continue.
Okay, I'll accept a movement to continue.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself. Move to continue.
To the 21st, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, next on the agenda. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public meeting on the request for determination of applicability by Brian Haas for the paving of a driveway at 507 Townsend Harbor Road. Do we have Mr. Haas or his representatives here tonight?
And the applicant here has requested to continue until September 21st because they don't have the engineered plans yet.
When the applicant actually requests it, do we still need to vote? Is that the correct
Yes.
order? Okay, I will accept a motion to continue.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call vote, Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sue Petralia. I'm the abutter to Mr.
Ah,
Haas.
very good, yes.
And I'm just wondering, how many times can he continue to ask for a continuance? Because this has been continued multiple times now. The survey was done before the last meeting. I already had a survey done the week before that. The property has been clearly marked by the surveyors, and it's just beginning to feel like, stall and delay tactics to me. So I'm wondering, how many times can he continue to delay without showing here?
That's a great question. And I'll defer to Nadia for that. Nadia?
Sure. I mean, in this case, the plan has not been completed by the engineer. I think someone at Dillis and Roy is working on it, and they had reached out to me, and they had gone on vacation and come back and they have not, the engineer themselves has not finished the plan. So I think it will be in by the next meeting.
Okay, because I'm just concerned because the survey clearly marked that what I've asserted from the beginning, that this is across the property boundary. In fact, it's actually across the property boundary further than I even thought. And the other remaining part of the driveway that is near his house, the strip straight ahead of the driveway is well beyond the required 5-foot setback. So, you know, it appears that all of this land that was cleared and absolutely everything that I've been asserting is actually true. So I don't understand what plan needs to be made because it's clearly across the property boundary.
Sue, what is your last name?
Petralia, I'm sorry.
Petralia, Miss Petralia, I would just want to make certain that I'm appropriately addressing you.
Yeah.
You do realize that our charter as the Conservation Commission is strictly related to the wetlands laws and the town bylaws associated with wetlands, and so not the issue of the property boundary or his, you know, alleged kind of transgressions there, right?
Yes, I understand that. I know that it had been brought up by a number of the board members in previous meetings about, you know, can you actually make a determination on the driveway that is not all within his boundaries? And, you know, that I'm just wondering how long, like, it can continue to be, you know, he can avoid the meetings and just continue to stall this. I know that there were concerns from the board members as well about the clearing of the berm and the vegetation between our properties and that. So I'm just.
And our direction to the applicant was to bring us back clear drawings. And so the survey is one step of that. But then, you know, actually applying that design work to the wetlands laws is another part of it. And that does take a little bit of time. And I don't think that we know or had an official determination about how many times he can continue, but it appears to still be within a reasonable measure.
Okay, all right. Like I said, this is all new to me. So.
It's fair to ask those questions.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate you answering them.
Thank you very much. So with that, we will move on to the next agenda item. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a public hearing on a notice of intent by Marsden Engineering for replacement of a septic system and installation of a recharge trench within 100-foot wetlands buffer at 37 Spring Street. Do we have a representative from the applicant here tonight?
Yes, Steve Marsden from Marsden Engineering. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Thank you, Mr. Marsden. Do you want to take us through this and bring us up to speed with where we are today?
Certainly. Made a presentation. If you want to share, if you want to allow me to share my screen, I
think I'll allow you to share.
Very good. Here we go. Do you see that?
I do.
All right. Do you see my cursor?
I don't, and it looks a bit like an eye chart. Can you? It looks like I'm looking at your file structure and a drawing preview pane off to the side. Can you make that drawing your full screen?
Well, I'm going to go back out and come back in because it's what I show is the full thing.
You might want to try unsharing and resharing the screen with the plan.
What'd they do?
They should have the option to stop sharing and then reshare and make sure it's the window with the plan.
Stop share. Share screen. I apologize. I had this all set up and let me just reset this up with my screen. Open Adobe. I apologize, Commission. Wow, I am not getting there. I apologize.
Nadia, do you have his drawing? Could you share?
I do. Hold on.
Thank you.
I apologize, Nadia. Like you said, Chairwoman, the technology is great until it doesn't work.
Exactly.
I apologize. I was all set up, ready to go.
Okay, Nadia, I can see your screen. Mr. Marsden, can you see Nadia's screen?
I think this is Steve's.
Oh, it's Steve's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Marsden,
Got it.
now you are muted, so we cannot hear you.
Mute. Oh, there we go. Now I'm unmuted.
Okay, and now we've got the full
Excellent.
shebang.
Very good. Presented this at the last meeting, did not have a DEP file number, and it was an abutter who requested in addition to the plan, which if you look up here at the existing garage, there's a drainage swale, which he requested that I show on the plan, and it says existing swale. It's about 6 inches wide and 3 to 4 inches deep, but it does keep the drainage from Spring Street from entering his property. It goes between the two trees, as they show here, going down along the property line. By the time it gets to the lake, it's all infiltrated. So it's just a matter of maintaining that drainage that comes off of Spring Street and not directing it onto his property. In addition, I've asked the attorney for the owner to include on the deed, because this property is for sale, a drainage easement for the benefit of the people who have the right to pass and repass on Spring Street, so that no drainage would be stopped up on Spring Street and prevent that natural drainage flow. So that was the request from the last meeting, but basically the project involves the replacement of a sewage disposal system. And it's shown in this location here. It's a combination of a number of technologies to improve the water quality, because we have the offsets to the lake and offsets to existing wells. So we're doing a jet treatment system, which provides for a significant decrease in BOD and suspended solids and nitrogen. Jet advertises that the effluent which comes out of the tank is clear and drinkable. I'm not going to test that, but that is what they advertise. And then in addition, Mr. Gareffi from the Board of Health the new leaching field will be the geomat, which is an additional nitrogen removal for nitrogen sensitive areas. So the nitrogen will be removed in the jet treatment tank, and then additional nitrogen will be removed in the leaching area pressure dose. So the effluent, when it gets to the sand interface in the proposed leach field, should be just about water quality. The work will all be outside the 30-foot no touch, which is shown here. The siltation barrier wattles is shown there. The grading change on the site will only be about, it's actually 2.6 feet, so less than 3 feet, right in front of the deck. So that area right in there. And other than that, no tree cutting, no removal of any vegetation. It's grass now, and what we're proposing is to put sod back so that we have an immediate lawn right away. So it's not loam and seed. We're actually going to put sod back so that we have grass right at the close of the project. And we do have a file number now.
Very good, Mr. Marsden. I don't have any questions. Do my fellow commissioners have any questions or comments for Mr. Marsden?
I just assume this is a DEP now, DEP number?
Yes, we do. Yep, Nadia,
Okay.
you do that, correct?
Yes, I think we do.
Great, thank you.
Okay, no questions.
And do we have an abutter on the call tonight that may wish to comment or ask questions? Do not see an abutter. Okay, I think we're in a position to accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Can I ask what the commission is moving for?
I was just going to say my assumption was a negative determination of applicability, but I will ask Mike to clarify.
Yes, I was looking for negative determination.
It's a full notice, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't do a determination. It's a full notice.
Oh, it's a full notice.
Yep.
Okay, then. So then
I can make a motion if you'd like.
that would be great, Jeff.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 37 Spring Street as designed with a standard order of conditions.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I for myself.
Very good. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the next item. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Lunenburg Wetlands Bylaw and Regulations as listed in Chapter 239, a public hearing on a notice of intent, DEP number 208-1265 by Fitchburg Landowner LLC to construct a 367,000 square foot warehouse and distribution facility with parking and stormwater controls at 260 Falula Road. And do we have a representative?
Applicant has also asked to continue until October 5th. They are still in front of the Fitchburg Planning and Conservation Commissions, and they will come to us after those plans are approved, as most of the work is in Fitchburg.
Okay, do I have a motion to continue to October 5th?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself. So that is that approves a continue until 10/5 or the 5th of October. Okay, so moving on to new business. We're going to defer election of officers since we need to have all members participating for that. Do we have any updates for budgets on revolving funds?
I have made a request to Karen to set budgets for the revolving funds. However, she's on vacation until next week, so she will not be able to actually set budgets, at which point we can start paying bills from those funds. So these are for the both the Hollis Road Fund, revolving fund, and the timber rights revolving fund.
Okay, very good. Updates on advertising fees and billing?
Yes, this was a request from Bob. We've started to note that advertising fees, they all come into the, they don't come into the conservation budget per se, because all of our budgets from the general fund. So advertising fees vary throughout the year. And Bob wanted to request that the commission vote to ask applicants to pay the newspapers directly, both the Lunenburg Ledger and the Fitchburg Sentinel and Enterprise as appropriate. So just it would sort of be a change in sort of our policy at the office, because otherwise we end up eating up a lot of our budget towards advertising. Even though we get checks coming in to cover it, it just goes in the general fund and not into the the fiscal year budget for conservation.
Is there any process or anything that would get in the way or contravene us doing that? Or is it simply up to the commissioners to vote?
I think if the applicants pay for the ads directly, that's not, it's more of a policy issue, because it just means the money isn't coming through the town.
Okay, I'll accept a motion. Anybody care to move on changing our policy to have the applicants pay for ads and billing, advertising fees and billing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche,
Aye.
Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, next on the agenda is the Owl Prowl request, which we handled in the public announcements. ZBA comments on Pondview Commons 40B. What is this about?
Yeah, there is a 40B project going in on Pondview Commons, which I think is, where is that? 400 Howard Street. If people know where that is, there was a older proposed development. And this is just, they're going to go in front of the ZBA for a waiver of many of the town, because it's a 40B project, of many of the town regulations, I think including the wetlands bylaws. They obviously can't waive the Wetlands Protection Act. And I'll pull up a relevant map, hold on. So this one is probably the most relevant. Share it. So this is the proposed development that they're going to build, which has a few buildings. There's one building that has some of the driveway in the outer 100-foot buffer. This is building C on sort of the bottom right corner, if you can see. And so I don't know, the commission has the opportunity, they're going to have a meeting next week with DBA, and the commission has the opportunity tonight to vote on any advice that we want to give to ZBA in terms of waiving the bylaw or not. And I don't know how much choice the commission will have in terms of, but certainly you can make requests if certain aspects of the bylaw seem more important than others.
Do we have a site plan that shows where these buildings are relative to the wetlands on the property?
So the wetlands buffer, if you can see, this is the 100-foot buffer for the wetlands. And then there's also a little bit of work within the 100-foot buffer here. It's all within the outer 50. But, as you can see, if you can see parking lot, let me see if I can make it even bigger. But if you can see building C, so there's wetlands right here, and then this is the buffer. And then a bit of the parking lot is within the 100-foot buffer, but not within the 50-foot.
And where's this project? Sorry.
This is
Howard Street.
Howard Street, kind of the back lot there. So there had been another approved project a while ago that ended up, I think, going sideways, and now they're attempting to do a 40B development. So,
but we don't have one that shows kind of these buildings relative to the rest of the property.
We might. Well, there's a lot of plans. Let me see if I can find the one that shows it relevant. I mean, it's a big piece of property.
It's a big piece of property. Okay,
What
I
units are
see.
they proposing?
Yeah, here's I think some of the wetlands, not all.
So they've already cleared a lot of this and put roads in, from what I remember.
Oh, right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah, I walk up there a lot. I mean, adjacent on the Northwest Forest.
Yeah. So
The big concern was getting water, wasn't that?
That was a big obstacle, yes.
So this is where they're going. These are the wetlands. You can kind of see the buffers. And then these are where the buildings have been proposed.
Wow.
Nadia, do you know how many units?
It's in the so it should be in the folder. There's a huge 200-page application. I want to say it's I don't know. I want to say it's like over 200 units. It's going to be 200 units.
So where's the septic going?
I think there's a proposal that they're going to tie into sewer, and that's also kind of going to be complicated, but that's beyond the scope of what the commission needs to comment on.
Okay.
Is there sewer out on Howard Street?
I
No.
don't think so.
No, it's up on the main, so it has to, there's, again, they're trying, one of some of the things that they're trying to do that I don't know about in depth, but they are trying to claim that you could tie into the sewer on, not on Howard Street, but maybe on Chase.
So what are those squares that you can, or rectangles that you can see there?
The squares?
To the right side of the project, you can see those kind of shaded rectangles.
Those
What would that
were,
be?
there was, I think, a previous project proposal that was there, buildings that were supposed to be built that they ended up not doing. So there was something else completely different that's been approved, and the town maps for this look very strange because there's all kinds of roads that are put in there, and there's nothing there on the land. So,
Those rectangles are where the old Arrow Farm chicken houses used to be, right?
Yeah.
The ones that your
Is that
cursor
what
was
that
just
is?
on? Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah,
So-
at first I thought those were maybe leach fields, but okay.
So I think they will, for the project, have to come before the commission for the Wetlands Protection Act, but I do not know that we will be allowed to apply the wetlands bylaw at that time. Depends on what they get waivers from the zoning board of appeals at the meeting next week. So I think what Bob had recommended is some sort of a vote tonight if the commission wants to make any recommendations about the work that's being done, if there are any parts of the bylaw that would be better to have enforced. I mean, this isn't the kind of project with nothing actually being within, no work inside the 50. There's nothing that couldn't be approved under the bylaw, but obviously the commission might have requested, if the bylaw was applicable, you might request certain things along with it.
So are we not even able to ask about like storm water management coming off of those parking lots since they're within the 100?
That's not our jurisdiction though. I mean, the only thing that we can really control is that driveway in the 50 to 100. That's the only thing I can see, but we normally just allow that.
Okay, so just for my education, so even I thought that it would be within jurisdiction if stormwater runoff might come into a wetland from something that was outside of the 30 or the 50. Is that not your understanding?
Well, it is, but this isn't a stormwater plan, so this is just kind of a, this is what we'd like to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So at this time, I mean, there are going to be further plans, but first they have to go through the zoning board of appeals in terms of getting certain variances for the permit. Is there anything that the commission would like to recommend? Any notes that you would like to give to the zoning board of appeals regarding the Lunenburg, specifically the Lunenburg wetlands bylaw?
So what is that other area that's kind of shaded, the black circles? Yeah, there you go.
Sure. Let me go back up there. That is going to be, I believe, it is going to be a grill and picnic area with some trees.
Okay. Okay.
So, and they are planting some trees. So.
Okay. Quite a project.
Yeah.
Indeed. So are there any comments that we could or should recommend?
I mean, I personally can't see anything that's kind of in contradiction of anything that we wouldn't allow personally, but the structure's outside the 100, the driveway's outside the 50. That's really it.
Thank you, Jeff. Are there any other comments or questions by any of the other commissioners?
None for me.
And I don't see Rich or Mike commenting. So Nadia, no, Mike.
Yeah. Wasn't there initially that this site was being proposed on some very sensitive areas of habitat? I don't know where that information went or whether it was presented, but there were some issues regarding putting this big project in that space, but for the life of me, I can't remember whether it was submitted through the board or through the commission. So I'm sort of at a loss here at when this was initially proposed. It seems like it's pretty far along at this point, correct?
Well, they're in terms of planning, they're just now coming to ZBA for approval.
Okay. And there have been no issues brought up regarding sensitive areas of habitat or?
I think one thing to notice is that this is in ACEC. I think it's in the ACEC. Is it the one for, not sure which one it is. It's the one for Willard Brook and Pearl Brook as well. So it is within an ACEC. Which should mean there's a certain level of review from DEP.
And do we know whether or not those reviews have been done yet?
Well, they haven't gotten to that point yet because these aren't for the comprehensive permit. So.
Are we being asked to approve anything today prior to those findings being set?
I think the only thing right today is comments that are going to be relevant to the application of the wetlands bylaw for the CBA to consider. Would the commission like us to note that that the property is within the ACEC? I think it's for the Squanasset, but I'll check. If the commission would like to, I could certainly communicate that.
Yeah, I would
what kind of protections does that offer?
There's a certain level of review that I think happens at the state level more.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it's not. It's more that there's a level of review at the level of the state when a plan comes forward, rather than something that's at the level of the bylaw.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's worth commenting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we need to do a roll call vote to approve that as a comment, or is it sufficient that conversation we've had?
Oh, I'm not sure it has to be a vote. If the commission would like to vote, you certainly can.
We'll give anybody who has a different opinion about bringing that comment up, voice their opinion now, if they think we shouldn't bring it up. I'm not hearing any dissent. Is there anything else to discuss around this this project, or any other comments that we want to consider making to the zoning board? Okay, I'm going to close out that topic then. Nadia, were there any other topics that were not known 48 hours in advance of the meeting?
Yes, a couple. One is we have a notice of intent to sell. This is a parcel in 61B, so I'll just share that. Hold on. This is on, I guess, on Sunny Hill Road. It's not a very big parcel, but it's being taken out of 61B. And so typically the town has the first right of refusal for the said parcel. So I don't know if we have a map. We may not. So this one. Where is it? So it's off of Sunny Hill Road. It's sort of the, I think it's this back parcel is being taken out. Let me see, parcel 3. So it's actually just a small parcel that's being taken out. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So this part is being taken out of 61B. I don't know if the commission has any interest in it. I don't think there's funds at this time for land purchases and things like that. So
And where is the address again? It's on Sunny Hill, but where on Sunny Hill?
Sunny Hill Road, it's parcel 3. A little tricky to say where exactly. Sunny Hill Road. Let's see.
Who owns it now? Do we know
It's
that at
currently
least?
owned by Mackey, David
Okay.
Mackey and Kimberly Mackey. Map 92, block 35. Here, I can pull it up. Hold on. Okay, so this is the parcel. And I think this part is not being taken out of 61B, but this area in the front is. So,
Okay. And that's not adjacent to any other conservation held land?
no, it's got the Catacoomog going through a big piece of it, but I don't think it is. Does anyone else know otherwise?
So across the street, 21, I think is town-owned land. No, the other street
Oh, sorry.
across Lunenburg,
This one.
Leominster Road. Yeah, that's town property.
Okay, yep, yes, it is.
But that's not adjacent to the piece that's coming out of 61B, is it?
Not as far as I can understand from the letter.
Okay. I don't have an interest in attempting to acquire that. I don't know any other questions or comments from other commissioners.
I'd be curious, the comments, the other commissioners who are not here, who are more adept at property acquisitions.
So, Mike, you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
just wondering that, it sounds like a question that I wish either Rich Birch or Bob Pease would be here, because they're more adept at land acquisition and seeing the importance of having land and
Yeah.
possibly having some ideas of how to use it. And if we have first rights of refusal, it would be nice to get their input before we say yes or no on it. But that's just my opinion.
That's valid. How long do we have to respond to this first right of refusal?
I want to say it's either 30 days or 90 days. Let me check again on the document itself. So okay, so they intend to sell it 61B. $30 days.
And when were we notified?
Well, it was in the last week.
So presumably we have at least until the next meeting to respond or make a decision, or default to not trying to acquire it.
Yeah. Oh, there's 120 days for the town to exercise its right of first refusal.
Oh, good.
So there's time.
Okay.
And how much are they asking for it, Madam Chair?
They have an agreement for $95,000. Sorry.
Okay.
$95,000 for the entire parcel?
for the part that is parcel 3, which I think as I showed you, it's kind of a skinny parcel that's about 1.3 acres in between. There's sort of a chunk that's right next to the road. Then there's that huge chunk with the Catapunamog. And this is sort of a skinny rectangle between the two of them. So they're gonna take this out of 61B. And merge it with another parcel which has 4 acres. They also will be selling the back area will also be sold with 24 acres, but that's going to stay under Chapter 61B. And then they're planning to build some houses on that front area, on the area off of Sunny Hill Road.
So it sounds like we should move this to a future agenda topic and cover it again, maybe hopefully with Rich on in attendance, and maybe we can confer with Bob about it as well. We have 125 days to
make a decision.
Yeah, the town has the town has 120 days. And so several boards in the town are notified, and then the select board we need to make a written recommendation to the select board, and the select board has the feedback. So I think waiting for the next meeting. I'm sorry, I don't have enough time to understand, to communicate properly all the procedures involved. But I'll send them around.
I just don't think Bob or Rich are going to be here in the next meeting either. But
yeah, well, I knew Bob was, and I wasn't certain about Rich. I wonder if we shouldn't continue to October.
It's not a hearing, so I can just leave it on the agenda for next time as well.
Okay.
Makes it. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Old business. Do we have any updates on the encroachment issues at 192 Townsend Harbor Road?
We do. A number of letters have been sent out. If you took a look in the folder, and we actually got a response from one of the property owners, so that's really good. Hold on, let's see if I can get it. Letters.
And Nadia, I don't seem to have the folder in my shared drives. I have August 17th, but I don't have September 7th.
September 7th. Oh, is it not available?
It's not visible to me.
Oh, did I not share the link in the email?
I have it on. Maybe you just have to refresh it, but
yeah. I usually share the link in the email, and you should be able to go right to it. Let me try to put you on though. Is it your Gmail account, Mary?
Yeah, Gmail.
Mary.wilson@gmail.com.
No, it is the crow's nest 888 at gmail.com, which is that's the Gmail I've been accessing all the others through.
Okay, I just shared the whole folder with you.
Thank you.
So, and I think we got something. We got a reply today. Let me share it.
And magically I can see the folder.
There you go. All right, so this is, we have a reply from 100 Woodland Drive, where they're going to, this property in particular, I know Bob was very concerned about getting out to them because they are selling their property. They believe that they have taken care of all the encroachment and fences on their property. However, there are some stairs that they have been asked to remove that they think do not actually cross the property border. And they wanted to say, if they're missing anything, please let us know. We'd be happy to talk with you about that. Now, they are selling their house. It is set to close on October 6th. And, you know, they think the buyer is aware of the property lines as well. So they would like to know if there's anything else we need to do. I don't know if the commission would like to task me to go out and take a look at this property and confirm that the encroachments are off, or if you'd like me to schedule a site visit for the next set of meeting site visits might make sense to do. But I'm happy to do either of those things.
Do you have that map that was produced? Does it show the stairs on there?
I don't know where the map is.
The drawing?
Nice. Oh, yes, I have the map. Hold on. All right, is this the map?
Yeah, that's
It looks
the
like
map.
the correct
Thank you.
one.
Oh,
And it went away.
sorry, I don't know what happened there. There we go. Can you see it now?
No.
Not yet.
Oh, do I need to maybe I need to reshare my screen. Sorry. There we go. All right, now can you see it?
Yes.
So which property?
It says
One in the
100.
top corner. Can you zoom in to 100 for us?
Trying to. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Awkward.
Does
All
it
right.
show stairs? So there are some stairs there.
Is this one 100?
Yeah. That's the correct
Okay.
one.
Right. Although
So
it
it
does
does
look
appear
like the
that-
stairs may be on their property.
Yep.
So.
So I
So-
guess if we go on a site walk, we can kind of use the stairs as a judge to the line. Although it probably is staked.
Correct. So it sounds like Jeff is recommending a site walk.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't recommending that, but
I
I
can
was just,
get back to the homeowner and let them know that the commission will probably have a site walk on the 17th and would like to come out and take a look at that time.
I would
Perfect.
kind of like to go on a site walk as well, just to see it in person. I've seen the Google satellite images, so I wouldn't mind seeing it in person.
Makes 3 of us.
Okay, we'll be in good company. Okay, is there any other updates on the 192 Townsend Harbor Road encroachments?
Not at this time, just that letters have now been sent out again by town council. So
Okay,
we're
excellent.
I think, still waiting, and by the next meeting, we may have some more replies, or we may have some other deadlines at that point.
I wonder if anybody else is having the same problem the Palmas identified that they were attempting to send it to Matt. I'm not certain how we would know.
Yeah, so a lot of Matt's emails do get forwarded to me. I think they didn't have the correct email for Matt Marrow, but they did have the LCC@LunenburgOnline.com, and that one does come to me. That one is directly forwarded.
Well, presumably the new letter should have some type of contact response identified on there, right?
Let me see what it is. I think there is, yeah. Let's see. Letters. So, well, I think right now, yeah, there's not an email address, but there.
Oh, yeah, there
yeah,
is.
so this is forwarded to me. This one, I'll get.
Okay.
I have access to that one. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have been updated by now, but this is an older, right? Obviously an older letter.
Okay. Should we move on to 104 Woodland Drive? Have there been any updates there?
This is the only update that I have at this
Okay.
time.
Oh, okay. So we just talked about 100 Woodland, and that is actually not on the agenda.
Oh,
as a house number. We have 104 Woodland, we have 116 Woodland, but not 100 Woodland.
that is my mistake. I think I'd taken it off because I think we had already known that that encroachment issue had been resolved.
Okay,
That
fair
is
enough.
my mistake. So,
And so then the original one, 192 Townsend Harbor Road, that one, there are no updates there either. I think I saw that they had some work in progress.
yeah, that's Katernia's property, right? 192.
Think so?
They
Yeah,
are
that's the
in the middle of it.
driveway and retaining wall. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else to talk about with regard to encroachment issues?
Nope.
Okay, moving along, Hollis Road residents. Any update
Yes.
on maintenance work?
Yes, we have a lot of updates here. We're still awaiting one more bid for the window replacement. We have 2 bids so far where Julie Belleville was going to be sending out some advertising for contractors to come in on September 15th to look at the project. I believe the scope of work was in that advertising. And I will be there along with the tenant. And it looks like the bids are due on the 22nd of September. And hopefully that'll give us our 3rd bid for windows, and then we could make a decision on window replacements there. We're in the process of getting some numbers for replacement of countertops and cabinets in the same space. So far, the numbers are preliminary. I have numbers for product, numbers for installation. The other piece is the expenses for the pollinator habitat. There's been a request to purchase a used water tank. As everyone knows, prior to this past week of rain, it's been pretty drought-ridden in Lunenburg, and they were requesting another 250-gallon tank used so they could water the part of the habitat. Right now, they only have 1 water tank, and they have to literally have volunteers bring water to the furthest end of the habitat. So by having another water tank in the front, they would have 2 water tanks to draw from, which would make things a lot easier. And we did find one at the Facebook marketplace. They were asking $100 and $20 worth of cinder blocks to put the tank on is their request at this time. So I'd like to know if we could, there's that part, and there's also some fencing. All the plants that the pollinator habitat have received and planted this year, they would like to protect. So they're requesting roughly $900 worth of fencing product and posts and ties in order to protect all of the trees that they've planted this year and bushes that they have planted this year to keep the deer away from these precious plants. So and even the director, Ginny Albertson, had donated her own money, $300 worth of plantings this year for native plants, which she did not ask anybody to purchase. She did it on her own. We did get a number of plants through Lakeview Landscaping, or it could have been through the nursery. I'm not exactly sure, but they donated a lot of plants themselves. And we just want to protect, or the team wants to protect all these precious plants so they don't get eaten by the deer and other critters that will feast on all of these plants that they've planted. So they're asking for the $900 for the fencing and the $100 for the tank and the $20 for the cinder blocks to raise the tank. So I'd like to see if the Conservation Commission can approve those purchases. And I think I had spoken with Nadia, and she thought we could bring it up and possibly get some of it through petty cash. So that's where I'd like to begin.
Okay, so I hear a total of 1,020 is the ask?
Yes, correct.
And I did not know the means of, actually, I would separate them out. I think petty cash, we can get 100 to pay for the tank. I think if there is fencing, we need a quote from a vendor, and then that vendor has to be become a vendor for the town, which is a process, which can be done, but we would need a quote.
Well, those pieces are from, some of it's from Lowe's, some of it's from Home Depot.
It's already been spent, the money?
No, we haven't purchased it. We just got quotes from them.
Okay,
Do we have, is Lowe's one of the town's vendors?
I'll have to go into Munis and look at that. But if you can gather all the quotes that you have and email them to me, I can go and research it and figure out how we can get it done.
And is it worth looking at Mackey as well, since there are a known vendor? I mean, if we run into an obstacle with Lowe's not already being a vendor?
Absolutely, I'm sure they could, I think we just went out to get pricing from those vendors who provide pricing online. But you're right, it's very possible that Mackey has the same product, and we could essentially get the same product from them as well. And I'm sure the pricing's pretty close.
Yeah, okay.
So how do I get the tank? Because it is on Facebook Marketplace, these things kind of go pretty quickly. Do I need approval for that with the commission in order to get it?
So I think if the commission votes tonight, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Mary.
No, I've processed is something that I'm still very much a student on, so.
So if the commission vote, you need to vote because this is a requisition from a revolving fund. I think I just need to check with Katie. I think I can give the money out of petty cash, and we can use whatever receipt we have to file it, to get that petty cash brought back from the revolving fund. But I will, I definitely will look into that tomorrow. But I think if the commission votes tonight to approve that expense, we will have a way to pay it within the next, either tomorrow or Monday, Mike.
Sounds great.
So do we have I assume the answer is going to be yes, but I always just ask these questions. Do we have the funds available for this $100 expense through petty cash? Yes.
We do. We have about $200 in petty cash, and I'd like to retop it up soon, but there's plenty of money also in the
Okay.
like
And there are no other claims that we're aware of on those funds either.
Well, there are going to be some pretty significant claims on the on Hollis Road. So, but there's quite a bit of money in the Hollis Road revolving fund as well, because there's rent that comes in every month. I can give you all the information. Hold on. Let me see what I sent. So I think for Hollis Road, there's $59,000, 258.33. That's how much is in the Hollis Road revolving fund.
Okay.
So there should be enough for anything like this, as well as the maintenance projects, as well as reimbursement for fuels. Is that right, Mike? You said the resident was looking for reimbursement on some fuel payments.
Some fuel, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions, or we want to put this to a vote? I am not hearing any other questions. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to purchase a used water tank for the pollinator habitat for $100.
And do we also want to put the $20 of cinder blocks in with that as well?
Oh, absolutely. That would be great. And the 8 cinder blocks necessary to lift the tank off the ground so it will siphon water safely and easily.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And I for myself.
The pollinator habitat team thanks you.
Very good. Okay, moving. Is that all for Hollis Road, Mike?
There's one last thing about the exterminator. You know, I got
Okay.
a call saying there were ants, and I checked with Nadia, and it looks like we do have an exterminator who's on file. They're called Ransford Extermination. And that would be one of those revolving kinds of policies where, you know, it's $495 a year. And they come in quarterly to check for ants and rodents and that sort of thing. It's a commercial agreement for a year. And they will come out on an emergency for like $160 or $180 for an emergency. But if it's just part of their regular, come in the spring and spray for ants and come in the fall and set traps for rodents, it's all explained in their proposal, which Nadia does have.
I'll share it. Hold on. Here's the pest code.
In my opinion, just me personally, it makes the most sense to go with a 1-year plan, because if they're there once, they're probably going to be there twice. And especially with an asset, you want to maintain it and manage it for the long term. That's just my opinion. And for an expense like this, do we have to get multiple quotes, or is this sufficient? Nadia, that's probably a question for you about process.
I don't know that we have to get, I don't know what level is.
Madam Chairperson?
Yes.
It's really hard to get you to even be taken by a company from because they are so limited with their help that they generally don't take new customers.
Mm-hmm.
And since we are currently a customer of this Ransford Extermination, I think we should just go along with it.
I've got no issue with that. I would agree as long as I was just asking about if we have that latitude.
I don't know what the limit is when you have to take things up for bids, but I believe it's well under that. I thought it might be at something like 10,000.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I think we ought to.
Certainly it's under $1,000. I don't think there's going to be any. Again, I can look into that in the morning.
Okay. As long as it's within policy for us to accept this, I would recommend that we do it. Again, just me as one member. Does anybody else have questions, comments, or concerns? I would accept a motion to move forward with either the 160 or the 495 annual contract. The 160 was the one-off, yeah?
Yes. I second that.
So which one though? The 495 or the 160?
Well, I think the 495 is the annual fee. And if
Yes.
you have an emergency, which means over and above, they'll come in for $160. I think that's the way I read it.
Okay. I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay, so for the 495 for the annual fee is what you're making a motion to approve?
Correct.
And is there a second?
Second, Richard.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Aye for myself.
Thank you.
So does that conclude the business on Hollis Road residents?
That does conclude at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any updates on enforcement actions?
Yeah, David Blatt is still hoping to come before us. He has a plan that Dills and Roy are putting together, the work that he wants to do on the property. But
What is his address?
This is 411 Goodrich Street.
Okay.
And
Thank
then
you.
I also have some replies from Val at 615 Townsend Street. He has included, let me pull it up. He has built up the berm per the commission's request. Let's see if I can. Got a couple pictures of it. So this is the berm that he's sort of raised up to 3 feet wide and 3 feet high at this site. And so, which is what I'd ask him to do when we reviewed the enforcement order this week. We noted that he also is supposed to keep the silt fence beyond that in good working order. So now that I've let him know about that, he is also planning to update that as well. And yeah, as far as I can see, he's moving towards full compliance with his site.
What was the deadline that we had given him on full compliance?
I think it was September 7th. However, I omitted the, when I went out to him, I had not realized that the erosion controls were part of the order. So that is, I had a failure in communication there. So, but he is planning to do that as well in the next week or so.
So Nadia, will you have a chance to get out there and confirm prior to the next meeting?
That's my plan, yes.
Okay. Okay, and then so I think we have to wait until the next meeting to get another update on 615 Townsend Street. Yeah. And then for 411 Goodrich Street, when did you say the
David Blatt is, he says he's putting together a plan with Dills and Roy, but that he's out of town this week, and I will see if he will have it by our next meeting.
Yeah, it'd be nice at least to get a target date from them other than, working on something. Okay. And no other updates on any of the other properties?
I don't have any updates now.
Madam Chairperson?
Yes, Jeff.
I think it was a few meetings ago, I was looking for an update on 205 Sunset. The only reason being is, I mean, they have a significant project out there that was much bigger than what was approved, and they were supposed to seek, I think they were going to get an attorney. I just don't want it to kind of get lost, and there's other stairways and decks being built over there, and I just don't want anybody to get the wrong idea that 205 Sunset's going to stay the way that it's built.
And
so have they approached you at all with any kind of plans, or?
They have not. I will reach out to them. And would the commission like them to attend the next meeting? I mean, you had made very specific requests, and they've had plenty of time to work on them at this point.
Yeah, I think we need to kind of call them in at this point to see what's going on.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea. Thanks for the suggestion, Jeff. So we'll call them to the meeting on the 21st. And do we have a need for similar action on any of the other enforcements?
I think I need to sit down now that I'm a little more sorted in the office. I need to sit down and issue enforcement orders for them. I think I have still been trying to do background research on some of the non-compliance. Part of the issue is that there are a bunch of emails. The LCC at Lunenburg Online was Matt Merrow's primary account for communicating with a lot of our applicants. And I've never been given access to that, even though I ask about it every week. And so part of it is there's clearly interactions that have been going on, but there's pieces missing. So if I can just issue an enforcement order, and that will certainly help us put everything together. But I just don't know. It's like some people had different plans in process with Matt Merrow that I'm not able to pick up because I've never been given that information.
And who are you asking for that permission from?
Sure, it's Suzor, the IT. They're sort of the IT managers who have been managing this whole email transition in the town.
And have they given you an obstacle, or
they just haven't answered it? And Dan, who's our main IT person, is not able to access those emails. Although I guess they do still exist somewhere, but there's just a whole bunch of digital information about the office that I'm not able to access, and I do ask about it every week.
Well, that seems like a problem because that's legal documentation.
Yes, it is. It is. And there's issues too in terms of trying to get the office sorted. A lot of the digital documents are very confusingly labeled. It's hard to find things within the office as well. Especially on these. I think a lot of these were verbal agreements of various sorts. And I assume there's an email trail, but I'm not finding it in Matt Merrow's, in the email that I was given access to, at least. So.
Okay.
So I certainly could use help and support if people have knowledge of, I can sort of start to comb very slowly through the minutes and go through the actual meetings. But if people have knowledge about any of these sites to help me actually issue the enforcement orders, that would be super helpful.
I'll get you an email out tomorrow on that one.
That would be great. Yeah, the 205 Sunset, I do know a lot about.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, but the other nons, I don't. I mean, because I was here for all of the stuff with 205 Sunset, but for Oak Ridge, Pine Grove, Cove Road, and 336 Arbor Street, all of them, I have notes and things like that from meeting notes that indicate that Matt Merrow was in contact with these people and was working on plans with them. But then I don't have, the trail sort of goes cold beyond that. I don't quite know what exactly was going on.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and I don't know what the actual violation is in order to actually write the enforcement order. That's the other difficult part, because I don't know what to ask them to remediate. So I will probably, when Bob gets back, maybe I can get some support from him on that.
Have we not sent them letters?
No, we sent them. Well, some of them they have letters of non-compliance. Again, being able to find those letters is something that I have, again, struggled with because of the difficulty. I mean, some of them exist, but there's been some difficulty finding them in the files. They're not labeled in a consistent way. You can't always find information based on an address or something like that.
Right.
So it's real messy. The folders the digital folders that I inherited are real messy.
Okay.
As is the office. As I said, I'm working on it a lot. I have Rebecca. I have a really great assistant now. We are organizing the whole office and the digital files. Maybe I could set her on a task of hunting for more information on these particular lots as well.
Okay, well, I understand. So if anybody has information about any of these enforcement orders, I think Nadia could use a little bit of insights to help her narrow her search on the background. Anything else that we should be talking about with regard to the enforcement actions? Okay, let's move along to open space and land use. Howard Street driveway. What is it that we should be talking about there?
I think John and Roy is working on a plan, an engineered plan for the driveway. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. And then I think Bob would be the person that would give us updates on the trails grant.
His update is that all the grant paperwork has been completed and they are working on reimbursement at this time.
Oh, that's great news. Then request for approval of $700 purchase order to Smart Sign from the Timber Rights Fund. What is Smart Sign?
I think they made some of the signs. I think they maybe did. I'm not sure, but I think they made some of the metal signs that are in the office for the conservation properties. And I think, did he put that in? Let me see if I put it in the meeting folder or not. But he had a request for the commission to vote on $700 to approve $700 so that we can build a purchase order to pay Smart Sign from the Timber Rights Fund. Let me see if I have any more information on that. Hold on.
I don't have a problem with it. I just want to know exactly what it was for. That's all, right? Hopefully a receipt would show us that.
Yeah.
So we're clear on what we're voting on.
Yes. Let's see where it is though. So they currently have an invoice we haven't purchased yet. So let's see what we have. Okay. So it looks like there's some additional signage that that needs to be done. And so Bob is requesting a vote so that we can issue the purchase order so that they can actually order the signs. So.
Does he say what for?
It's for, I think, additional signage for the trails. There were some problems with some of the signs that had come in.
So these would be like the intersection map signs, or?
I think they are, yeah, I think Smart Sign is that who's been, I think that's who's been making the trail signs. So, I don't know anything beyond that.
Okay, and is this something that my fellow commissioners would want to vote and approve on tonight, or do you feel that we would need more information?
I think aren't these the signs that tell you are here?
Yeah.
And as Nadia has mentioned, some of them weren't quite accurate. And I made the joke that the sign should say you are almost here.
Not helpful if you're in the woods and lost.
Right. it'd be nice to be able to have one that was more accurate. So it sounds like that $700 is to replace some of the signs that didn't work properly.
Yeah, it's very specific ones. Here's one of the invoices. So there's one for 506.88, and then there is another one, I believe, for 200.02. So I think if you want, the commission wanted to move to approve both of these invoices. They haven't been made yet. So once we have the purchase order, they will actually make them.
I would accept a motion if anybody is inclined to move.
Are you asking for a motion or a sec?
A motion.
I will make the motion to appropriate the $700 purchase order for either more smart signs or correction of the smart signs.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, a roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, approved on the $700 purchase for smart signs from the Timber Rights Fund. Okay, committee reports. Stormwater Committee. We need Lunenburg Conservation Commission rep that was vacated by, I believe, Mr. Rabbit previously. Do we have somebody that's willing to raise their hand to be our representative for the Stormwater Committee?
I'll do it for you.
Oh, Rich, you're a champ.
That's been on the agenda for a long time.
It has been.
Okay.
Okay. And do we need to vote on that, Nadia, since we have a sole?
I don't know if you do. I will let the Stormwater Committee know that Richard will be our new representative so that he can join their meetings.
Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate that.
Okay, who's gonna notify them? Do I have to reach out or does the board reach out?
I'll notify them and have them reach out to you, Richard.
All right, great. Thanks, Nadia.
Now, are there any other communications or public comments for this board tonight? Any other business that we should cover that we haven't covered?
I just have one question.
Yes, Jeff.
Is there any way to get the plans for that Pondview Commons 40B that you had onto the cloud?
I was
Or
looking
is
for
it there?
those
I
as
just-
In the
well.
Google Drive.
I didn't
Oh,
see
so
them
it
in
is
that
the-
folder.
Yeah, oh, let me put them up. Sorry about that. Let me see if they are in or not. Actually, no, I believe they're in. They have a sort of a weird name. I should have retitled them better. The comp permit application as filed that was uploaded by me on August 31, 2022.
And it's comp?
Comp permit application as filed. Yeah, it should
Okay.
be in the September 7th folder.
I got it. Okay.
I see. I was
There it
actually
is.
looking for a folder, not just a file.
Yeah, it's just, I sort of have put things, if they're just a single file, I have just put them out.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, thanks for the question, because I had also been looking for that in kind of the background, but trying not to let myself get distracted from running the meeting. So I believe that concludes our meeting tonight. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Nicely done, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, Mary, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I have felt like I was on the hot seat all night.
It's
Thank you,
nerve-wracking,
though.
huh?
It is. It is. But I appreciate the support from my fellow commissioners. So thank you.
So I second request.
Okay, roll call vote. Jeff Viviano,
Aye.
Mike LaRoche, who is frozen in time, and so I'll be technically abstaining. Katie Childs,
Aye.
Rich Tremblay,
Aye.
and I for myself. And I want to thank Sam Welch for sticking it in through the long haul for us.
Welcome, Sam.
I admire your tenacity. Thank you. All right, everybody. Good night.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.